Konnichiwa. Hey there, this is Ken from Singapore. In this third episode, I'll talk in some detail about a visit to an Izakaya, the one I mentioned in the prologue. Izakaya are like the Japanese equivalent of Western pubs, with a focus on serving seafood items, being Japan. It's like a restaurant but more cozy and in a relaxed atmosphere. So whether you feel like just having a drink or getting a full meal, it's the place to go for local delights when you visit Japan. The particular Izakaya my friends and I visited is called Uoichi. Uo means fish and Ichi means the number 1. It seems that there's a few branches of Uoichi, and the one we went to was in Nishikasai in Edogawa City, Tokyo. It was located within walking distance to the Nishikasai train station, somewhere in the 3rd district of the metro subway. When we stepped into Uoichi Izakaya, it was already crowded, a sign of a good dining spot. From the way the customers interacted with the waiters, I would say they're mostly regulars. So being the timid me, I was a bit apprehensive, as a first-timer foreigner eating at where the locals go. Luckily for us, a table of 4 happened to be vacant, so we tucked ourselves in, soaking in the atmosphere. We settled down and the waiter was quick to attend to us, greeting us with his beaming, sincere smile. That immediately made us feel quite welcome, and it was a great start to a wonderful casual dining experience. First off came the appetizer, one curious bowl of 3 roundish fishball-sized nuggets. They're just slightly smaller than a piece of sushi and were served chilled to my surprise. I'm guessing it's some kind of baby taro, and I seldom have taros, but I popped one into my mouth anyway. To my pleasant surprise, they tasted light, refreshing, even just a hint of salt to bring out a natural, delicate sweetness. Quite different from the strong flavour of taro, quite palatable in fact. So before I knew it, I chomped down all 3 of them like a greedy hamster, while the waiter took our order and proceeded to pour us our drinks. While I like the taste of Japanese sake or rice wine, I don't drink as much as I have quite a low tolerance for alcohol. While on the bright side, you can say I'm pretty cost effective when it comes to drinks. That and the ridiculous prices of sake here in Singapore, but that's another story for another day. We went with the waiter's recommendation of Ura Kasumi, a local sake. Ura means the seashore, the beach, while Kasumi means mist. In making Ura Kasumi, the sake makers envisioned brewing a sake akin to gentle mist, embracing the salt pans of the sea on a warm spring evening. And Ura Kasumi did indeed live up to its poetic aspirations, served chilled, a gentle mist, with the warm hospitality of the Izakaya warming us up from within. I've always preferred rice wines that are slightly sweet, yet not cloyingly so, and Ura Kasumi was exactly how I liked it. Indeed, it was so smooth I really had to consciously resist downing too much at one go. At over 30% proof, Ura Kasumi carries quite a potent punch for casual drinkers like me, so I went at it really slow, sipping it evenly throughout the meal for a good hour or so. So yes, I have very much enjoyed my generous share of some Ura Kasumi, or mist of the shore if you will, in the land of the rising sun. Our sashimi plate soon arrived, and there was a shining plate of the freshest seafood I've ever seen. It was just incredible. Each slice was literally shining with unbelievable freshness, no hint of any fishy smell, cut skillfully in portions big yet easy to eat in one mouth. We do have sashimi in Singapore, but it's all imported via plane, so it's never this fresh, never this accessible, this assorted. In a way, I felt Uoichi's sense of sincere hospitality, in that they really do strive to provide the freshest sashimi aplenty to its customers, directly fetched in from the nearest fishing boats, no less. Every piece looked so mouth-watering and tempting to me. I didn't know where to start or how to eat it. So I simply took a piece closest to me, dipped a wee bit of wasabi, dipped it lightly in shoyu or soy sauce, and it just melted in my mouth just like that, like a piece of the most premium savory seafood butter, if that even makes any sense. Just felt very light, savory, delightful, full-bodied to the right degree, all at the same time. Yes, it was unreal. Before I knew it, my hand was reaching out for the next piece, and the next, and the next. It didn't take long for the three of us to empty what initially seemed to be a big plate of sashimi. The next two items served were totally new to me. They didn't look like anything I've had before. To be frank, the first one, that pinkish metal, the smaller of the two plates you see here, didn't look that appetizing to me. It looked like, how should I put this, mashed up brain or something. But hey, this is Japan, they take their seafood seriously. Well, actually they take everything seriously. So I figured it had to be a delicacy of some sort. Bracing myself, I took a swab and placed it in my mouth, expecting some sort of gamey, strong flavor to hit my taste buds. So I got the most pleasant surprise when it turned out tasting like a most exotic pate with light, creamy yet delicately sweet savouriness. It's like this slender slurry of the best honey-baked ham with a hint of rice nama chocolate. Yes, I know I'm not making any sense, but it's just out of this world. All I know is that it was an extreme indulgence and that I somehow felt it would be just perfect with rice. Later I found out that it was the innards of this cute little fish called the kawahagi or red sail fowl fish. Sorry kawahagi, it's just too tasty. Apparently it has to be really fresh or it would have been impossible to serve this way. The second item was just as foreign to me. In fact, it looked like this plastic rinds of a loaf of bread embroidered with bamboo or fiber-like patterns, if that even makes any sense. But it had an appetizing smell like grilled cuttlefish, just a bit lighter. So despite my misgivings, I gave it a go and crunched at the piece. The most interesting texture, seemingly stringy or lean at first, almost like jerky, but gave way to an agreeable chewiness just when it was about to become too chewy. Don't really know my beers, but I'm guessing this one's a great companion to any beer. Turned out that these were the fins of the stingray. I've tried BBQ stingray bed in my country, but the fins were always went straight to the bin. They're just too tough to chew on and didn't have much taste to them. So it was pretty neat to know that the fins can actually be made into such tasty snacks. Next came a sort of clam or whelk. It tasted crunchy and light at almost seaweed-like sweetness to it. Pretty similar to juicier fungus, just thicker and more flavorful. Apparently it was raw, but then again it's so fresh I didn't feel apprehensive or whatsoever in trying it. Along the way we were served agedashi tofu or deep fried tofu in tentia, a shoyu-based dip or broth. Even though I was to have it for the first time, I have no idea why the dish tasted traditional, comforting, even nostalgic to me. The tofu was silken, fried well without being too oily, skin just the right thickness, adding a bit of crisp. The whitish gravy-like condiment you see heaped on top is actually a kind of grated yam. It added to the silken texture, and chewing the agedashi tofu in one big mouthful felt really satisfying in a wholesome way. The broth too was well balanced, not over salty, so I took a liking to it and drank it all up, just like soup. And the orders just kept coming. We were then served seasonal sake, or what's salmon called in Japan, not to be confused with the rice wine. Japan too imports much salmon from Norway or other foreign countries, so it was a rare treat to be able to taste the Japanese salmon, not the imported ones. At this point, my Japanese friend told me an interesting fact. Salmon living in the river is called masu, and those in the sea are coined sake. Or was it the other way around? Pretty confusing stuff for me. All I knew was that it had a different flavor, lightly intense, fragrant even in a nice fresh fish kind of way, different from the ones I've had from sushi takeaway encounters. And the crab meat you see heaped in the basket next to the salmon? It was sweet. I've always liked crab, but find it a hassle to break apart the shell and all that, so this being served fresh and deshelled was in itself a big winner for me. It came boiled without any seasoning, maybe just a pinch of salt, but needless to say it was so fresh and tasted so sweet. I found myself picking up the little bits stuck in between the basket and resisting the urge to boil the entire thing in water just to get the flavor out. Yep, it's that good. We finished the crab in the basket and felt game for a bit more, so in came the steamed flounder. Another interesting naming fact of the day: in Japan, flounder can actually be called different names depending on which side it faces, right side up. If I recall correctly, the chant goes something like this: Hidari hirame ni, migi karei, which would mean left for hirame and right for karei. If I remember, we ordered karei, so looking at the picture, do you think I got it right? Anyone who knows better, please leave your comments down below, it'll be much appreciated. And just when I felt we couldn't stuff in any more food, there came 2 full bowls of ochazuke, a rice dish. Ocha means Japanese green tea and zuke is like submerging something underwater or liquid. So it's a simple soup rice dish. While I can't really take sour stuff, I opted this time for the one with the umeboshi or pickled plum, hoping that it would somehow help with digestion. Despite having ocha in its name, ochazuke didn't really feel astringent. It tasted very agreeable, in fact, with the seaweed strips and sesame seeds garnishing. Honestly, it was more like dashi, a savoury broth or stock. Perhaps it didn't contain tea after all? I'll never know. My stomach was almost bursting at this point, so the sourness from the ume really helped a bunch. So I ate like 3 times my normal amount, finished off the meal with a refreshing glass of ice cold spring water, which actually tasted naturally sweet, yet different from bottled mineral water. Uoichi really cuts no slack, even down to their chilled water. It tasted way better than the chlorinated, tap water I'm so used to. Feeling refreshed and yet still comfortably warmed up with that gentle buzz from Urakasumi, or mist of the shore as I endearingly coin it, they stepped out of the Izakaya, faces beaming with satisfied smiles from having had a splendid meal, sumptuous and healthy to boot. It was my first Izakaya meal in autumn with my Japanese friends, and I shall also fondly remember Uoichi's great food and service too. An autumn Izakaya dream come true. On this note, we have come to the end of episode 3 of my Japan Autumn Dream series. いただいた元気を少しでもお分けできれば嬉しい限りです。見ていただきありがとうございました。This has been Ken from Singapore. Hope you've enjoyed the video blog. And, as always, thank you for watching. Peace out.